What up, gamers? I'm Jason.
I'm Julie.
And today on Dice & Dragons, we are going to be reviewing the Nebula Hero Pack for Marvel Champions, the card game, published by Fantasy Flight Games and designed by Michael Boggs with some additional development by Caleb Grace. Now I'm going to toss it over to Julie, who's going to tell you more about the game itself.
So this is an expansion for the living card game. So it's still a cooperative game. It's still 1 to 4 players, and it's still for ages 14 and above. It plays in about 45 minutes per player. So in our case, it normally plays in about 60 to 90 minutes, but it can take a lot longer when you're playing 4 players.
You know, I was just thinking because it's Nebula here. She is a hero, but she was also a villain. Maybe we'll get playable villains in the future and we'll be fighting heroes on the other side. Who knows? There's some pretty cool villains. I'd love to play as Dr. Doom.
Oh, okay.
So, on that note, let's talk a little bit about the Nebula Hero Pack. It, of course, adds the aforementioned character to the game. Now, Nebula plays differently than other characters. She is going to have a Justice deck, not something that I expected, actually. So a Justice deck filled with all of these different techniques that you're going to be putting into play in front of you. Now, when you are in your hero mode, it'll force you to trigger the special effect on the techniques. You also have cards in your deck that will let you trigger those special abilities, and you will use them to do devastating amounts of damage and thwart to ensure that you are victorious when you're trying to defeat these enemies. So if you want to take on the Mad Titan with Nebula, that's very thematic to the Infinity Gauntlet story, I think you should definitely try it out. Your nemesis is going to be your sister Gamora, and there's some pretty cool, interesting mechanics as to how that works that we'll discuss in our review. Now, did I miss anything at all, Julie?
I don't think so.
All right, on that note, we need to
grab our drinks.
Grab our best friend or fellow family member.
We gotta take it to the table one more time.
One more time. And just one little bit of clarification. We are filming this back-to-back with the Hood Scenario Pack review. So if you're just wondering why everything is similar, now you know. So we're going to get this last game of Nebula and Gamora versus the Hood played. And we'll be back with our thoughts. So Julie, what did you think of the Nebula Hero Pack for Marvel Champions, the card game? You were fairly skeptical at first, I think.
I was, but she was a lot of fun. She plays very differently than others that we've played, I would say. Do you agree?
I do agree. Her whole technique system is something that we don't have anything like currently in Marvel Champions. And I really like the way that it works because it pushes a lot of strategy as to your alter ego and your hero form. And it's really cool because in your hero form, you are going to have to get rid of all of your techniques. They trigger, they do a lot of cool stuff, so you want to potentially have a lot of them out before that happens. And you can do a lot of neat stuff in terms of getting techniques into play in your alter ego form, sometimes even for free, as well as triggering some of the abilities. So I really like the way that all of that worked out. There's a few cards I'm not a big fan of, such as Nowhere. The idea of getting Guardian allies into play is cool, but we just really don't have a strong ally build, and I think that the card would be good in another deck, and I don't think that Nebula or you were playing Gamora at this point in time really bring a lot of allies to the table.
Yeah, I played Nebula first. She definitely is a lot of fun. I wasn't quite sure, but it was a lot of fun to be able to work, and she has the different abilities depending on when you play it, and then when you trigger it and you cycle through. Basically, nothing really stays. I thought, this isn't going to be fun because you have to get rid of the techniques every time that your next turn starts, basically.
Well, one of the big value is that the fact that they only cost 1 means they're very easy to play, and you can use some strategy and play around it. The fact you get to draw some cards when you're in alter ego form, when you put a technique in play, really makes it work rather well. And she's Justice. I did not expect her to have a Justice aspect for her starting deck. I figured maybe something more like aggression, just because it goes with the character. But I really liked her as Justice. She worked really well and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. She does some good thwart. She does some good damage. She's a very well-rounded character. And it was fun playing her while you were playing Gamora, and vice versa. I had fun playing Gamora while you were playing Nebula. They play very well together, at least against the Hood. I felt like it was a good fight, and I enjoyed it. This was one of this was a lot of fun playing against, and then we'll get into the Hood. That'll be a different review that you guys can see. But I definitely like Nebula, and I think she's, like I said, she's fun to play when you're playing with Gamora.
So now that we've said fun a million times, I will say that they definitely do pair very well together. I also want to compliment the design team in terms of how they set things up with regards to Nebula's nemesis. Her nemesis is, of course, Gamora. And it works well with Gamora even as a hero character in play, because there are some cards that say, well, if the ally or if the hero's in play, well, they attack you and they will suffer the effects from that attack, which I thought was really interesting. So I like the fact that they design around it. It does get a little wonky when Gamora's beside you and you're also facing off against her, but you know, it is a game and you're going to get some wonky stuff like that. But the way that the cards work, the way things get equipped, and the fact that it can go sideways even if you've got your sister beside you, I think is just totally thematic to the character and works very well in terms of the relationship between the two characters. I just think they did an excellent job crafting this deck, and it feels like it's playing a lot to the character's strengths, doing different techniques, being able to deal damage, being able to thwart. She's an all-rounded character. She focuses a lot on damage, but her techniques also are useful in terms of managing threat in the scheme. And I just like the way she is just an all-rounded character.
She's very well balanced.
Yeah, she's very balanced. I mean, 2 thwart, 2 attack. So I don't really have much more to add. I think she's definitely, I don't know if she's quite a top tier hero. There's a few that we really enjoyed in the past that we haven't played in quite a while that are very strong. But I definitely would say that she's in the upper echelon of heroes. She's definitely part of the better characters from this
I think she's a must-have as an expansion.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, then she's definitely a must-have. If you're not a fan of Guardians and you're a fan of cool content for the game, then I think she's also a must-have. If you're just not a fan, period, well, then that's up to you. Get what you want in terms of content. But she's definitely in the upper echelons of the characters. And it's really shocking for us because we ended up jumping ahead in terms of the release cycle with Valkyrie, and I think you would have much rather played Nebula first.
Well, yeah, I ended up playing Valkyrie first and was disappointed with it. But not with Nebula. Like I said, she was very well rounded, and it was a fun play. I said it again. Yeah. So I'm ready to give it a score. Are you?
Yes. On that note, we don't need to say the F word anymore. So
at least it's a 3-letter F word.
3-letter one, not the 4-letter one. We'll have to find a 4-letter one that is not inappropriate for another video. Full?
Yes.
This was a full playthrough? No, we haven't done a full playthrough in a while on the channel.
Okay, so on that note, I will give Nebula a 7.5.
7.5? I think I'm going to give Nebula an 8. I really enjoy the way that she plays. I think the other reason why I'm going with an 8 is I like the cards that came with Nebula, not just talking about her as a hero. The Justice cards are very cool, and Heroic Intuition is a card that I was able to get into play, increasing her thwart and her attack are very good things, because you've got cards that, you know, you make a basic thwart and then they're like, okay, now take your thwart and use it to attack another character. And if you've got some of these techniques that actually boost your thwart and attack, it's very cool because you get to use a basic move, but you might have a boosted thwart, so you can deal a lot of damage at the same time. And it's only a 2-cost card, so being able to deal 4 or 5 damage depending on the boosts you've got in play works very well, and is even stronger than some of the attack cards that you might actually play regularly from your hand, so you're getting the benefit of both actions. So I thought that was just pretty cool.
So on that note, it's time to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified when we have some new content for you.
And take a look down below in the video description. You'll find links to all of our social media feeds, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you'd like to see pictures of Julie and I playing the Nebula Hero Pack, there'll be plenty on those feeds. Also now popping up, down below in the video description, I was getting ahead of myself, is a link to multizone.ca, great Canadian game store. If you're looking for a copy of Nebula, check them out. It's a great way for you to support the channel, as you will get get 10% off your next purchase, and a portion of that purchase will be returned to us. Also popping up in front of me are going to be links to some of our previously released videos, in front of Julie as well. So over here will be our most recent release, and in front of Julie, since this is still the Guardians of the Galaxy cycle, do we go to Galaxy's Most Wanted or Mad Titan Shadow? I'll let you decide.
I was going to say, why don't you put it to Valkyrie since we talked about it, but...
You know what, not Valkyrie. We'll link you back to Gamora. We'll keep the sisters together. I think that's more thematic and a lot more interesting.
Okay.
And on that note, we need to...
grab our drink.
Grab our best friend.
And we got to keep playing games.
Keep playing games. We know we got a lot of cool stuff coming from Marvel Champions in 2022. Make sure to check us out.